inevitable.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you are laughing and opening a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make mockery and not to understand, is to make the same mistake yourself.
Oh, what is up, Straight Talk Society? Welcome to another episode of Pause and Reflect. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little video that I threw together. I decided to just, make a couple of changes, just a couple of minor changes. That was the great Minister Louis Farrakhan in the background. When I heard that clip, I think he sent me that clip maybe a year ago, and I saved it ever since because I just thought it was great, and I always wanted to add it to something that I did. So I was glad that I was able to add it to that. Speaking of E, shout out to you, E. Peace to those of you watching, man. Let's get into it, man, because listen, what we have going on here today is going to be the culmination of what we've been talking about for the past few months. I think we're like 28 episodes in on Pause and Reflect. I don't count the first one because the first one was just more so like, something that happened and I just wanted to talk about it. But as we've been doing the Pause and Reflects, I think we're about 28 shows in. So, and it's all been pointing you to one thing. It's all been pointing you to one thing: taking ownership of your life and stop blaming others. That's really what this is all been about. So guess what? This lesson is over. After today, this is going to be the culmination of that lesson. If I had to revisit it in the future, I will, but we're going to move on to other things. Monday, I do have a show, if I could do it Monday, entitled Church Hurt. I definitely want to talk about church hurt. So we're going to do that Monday, if not Wednesday. And then next Friday, Lord allow, we'll move into the new phase of Pause and Reflect, where we'll be talking about fatherhood, marriage and relationships, and money. Because listen, I'm like a good daddy. I'm like a good daddy. I'm a good husband. I'm a good husband. I'm a great father. I'll beat you down figuratively, and not, I don't want to hear anybody say anything crazy, but whatever. I'll use the rod of correction on you, but I will always build you back up. I am a great father in that regard. I'm going to always build you up. I'll show you where your faults are, and my faults also. So let's not kid ourselves. So let's get into the scripture. Let's get into the scripture. And it's funny because I was only going to read like 2 or 3 verses of this, and then I did what I tell everybody else to do: read before that and read after that. So let's go to the book of Galatians. And this basically, when I started reading this encompasses everything that we've done up until this point with Pause and Reflect. This scripture that I'm about to read to you right here. And we're coming from Galatians chapter 6, verse 6. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. There's the encapsulation of everything we've ever done on Pause and Reflect. If a man is overtaken in a fault, all I've been doing since we've been on here is just showing you where we fall short as men. And I consider myself to be spiritual, so I'm going to restore such a one in the spirit, but I'm doing it in meekness. I'm also doing it with correction. I'm not sparing the rod, but I also consider myself. So I don't fall into the temptations of the things that we've been teaching on here. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. For if a man thinks himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. Man, we've been trying to break that out of you for so long. Stop trying to think that you're more than what you are. Just be content. Be content with who you are. Be perfectly imperfect. That's why I tell you why me and my wife's marriage works so good, because we're perfectly imperfect. We're two imperfect people just, working this thing out. Perfectly imperfect. But let every man prove his own works, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. Man, listen, you're going to rejoice in yourself, man. By the time this is all said and done, hopefully you're like, you know what? I can make it now. I got the tools, and we're going to go on. This is what we're going to do. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things, but not deceiving. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Now, the false preachers, which I'm gonna get to that Monday, the false preachers will use that verse to tell you, see, you need to give money. You need to give money. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. To hell with you and your damnable doctrine. I'm going to get on that Monday. I might do it Sunday, so I really got some time. But to hell with you and your damnable doctrine. When the scriptures talk about be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. It's not talking about money. It's not talking about money. It's talking about the spiritual things, the things that you sow in your life. Just like when they talk about the tithing, bring all the tithes to the storehouse, that'll be maybe meat enough. Yeah, God, I don't even want to go here. I'll save this for Monday. But that's not talking about money. That's not talking about money. But if you don't know and you don't read the book for yourself, then you'll think that it's about money. So these false teachers could come along and just scam you out of all your loot. So, but I'm here now. I'm here. Don't worry about it. I'll fix you up. So let's get into today's show, man. And it's morning to you, Jackie. It's not, and today's show is not going to be long, because today you're literally going to hear talking points that we've talked about, and it's just today is the end of the year test for this portion of Pause and Reflect, where we're just going to go over some things before we move into the next stage, which is fatherhood, marriage and relationships, and your finance. So let's just put a nice big red bow on this. So you can't blame your way into a better life. Growth demands responsibility, and responsibility demands courage. Listen, the topic of today's show is the death of the blame game. We're gonna put some things to rest today. The death of the blame game. We all understand, we are all aware that we are responsible for our lives. Yes, we may have been dealt a certain lot in life, a certain portion, but at the end of the day, we are all responsible for our own lives. Growth requires responsibility. See, in order to grow, it requires something. It requires something for you to grow, and that is responsibility. Every time you blame someone else for where you are in life, you hand the power for them to keep you there. That is what it is. That is why our people especially are stuck in the rut that we are, is because we rather give the power to someone else to say that, hey, I'm here because of X. I'm here because of you. I'm here because of my circumstance. I'm here because of that. I'm here because of that. You know what I mean? And when all you had to do in some cases is just get up. Just get up. It's okay to fall. It's okay to fall. Falling is not the issue. Falling has never been the problem. It's the fact that some of us never get up. Going into the cave has never been the problem. It's just that some of us never come out of that cave. And like I said, man, it is time to stop blaming everyone. Time to stop. You know what's funny? So I listen to a lot of these shows. I'm really big into the money thing now. And I listen to a lot of these shows, and these people are talking, oh man, I'm in debt here, I'm in debt here, I had this, I did this, I did this, this person did this. But the one person they never put the onus on is themselves. Like, who told you to go live above your means? Who told you that you had to have that? That's all we've ever tried to do here on Pause and Reflect, is to get you to point the finger at yourself. Point the finger. What they say, if you point a finger, you got three pointing back at you. You need to just point them all at you, because 90% of the time you may have not been the initiator, but you're the person that's keeping you in the situation that you're in for the most part. Because you fail to move on, you fail to look that enemy in the face and say, hey, I'm not going to let you keep me here anymore. I'm going to get out of this. You fail to do that. Blame feels so good in the short term because it shifts the spotlight. There we go. Right, Jackie, character. It shifts the spotlight. It lets you off the hook emotionally and gives you a reason not to try. Oh my goodness, I could do this all over again. It lets you off the hook emotionally and gives you a reason not to try, because you have that crutch. You have that crutch. I don't even want to say this one because he's going to think I'm talking about him, but we always use these crutches. We always talk about racism, everything, racism. I'm not an idiot. I'm not stupid to not think that there are still racist elements in this country, but I think, and I know MD, the political prophet amongst men, so glad to see him come back last Monday, will disagree with me, but the playing field is as level as it's gonna get. You may have a slight disadvantage, but the playing field is as level as it's gonna get. And guess what? They're suffering too. The white people suffering too. So you aren't as uneven as you think. Put that one in your pipe and smoke it. Let me see. But that feeling doesn't last, and it doesn't build anything real. It doesn't build character. It doesn't build character when you always have the reason to blame somebody. Yeah, I knew that one would make you perk up, because you probably like, Trevor don't know what the hell you talking about here. But yeah, I knew that to make your ears perk up. I knew it. You welcome. Hey, I need you Monday too for this food episode that we're gonna do. So you definitely welcome to bring this up if you want. Responsibility is heavy, but it's also freeing. It gives you control. Responsibility is very heavy, man. It is, man. Black women catch hell, but I assure you, there's nothing harder on this earth than to be a black man. Because you catching hell from everywhere, and you catching it from your woman too. So that's double the trouble. Growth never comes from complaining. It comes from owning your life, even the painful parts. Even the painful parts. Own your life, even the painful parts. Today we talk about what it looks like to bury the blame and finally take the wheel. That's all this is about this morning. We're gonna bury this thing. We're gonna say, hey, I'm not gonna blame you. I'm not gonna blame you anymore. I'm not gonna blame it anymore. I'm not gonna blame them. They, they would always say what they say, and then my old pastor would say, well, what does the night say? Because you always talking about they, what they say, they did this, they did that. Yeah, you got to be accountable. This guy's all about accountability. And if not for anything, be accountable to yourself. Oh my goodness, be accountable to yourself. Take some accountability. Take some responsibility in your own life and for your own actions. Come on, man. This is not as hard as we like to make things. But we're victim. We got this victimhood mentality where it is so easy just to be a victim. It's so easy just to play victim because it allows you to lie in your comfort zone. It allows you to never have to do anything. It allows you to never have to expand further than what you are. To just stay there in your victimhood. Just be a victim. We don't do that over here, though. We don't do the whole victim thing over here. At some point, you know, at some point you gotta move past victimhood to victory. We just did that one a couple of shows ago. Stop complaining so much. Nothing I hate more than listen to hear a complaining man. Just complain about everything. Oh my goodness, bro. Like just complain about everything. Woe is me. Every single thing. You can't lie to you can lie to everyone, but you can't lie to yourself. That's absolutely right. So blame is a form of self-handcuffing. You're handcuffing yourself every time you blame somebody else for something. Every time you blame, you trap yourself in somebody else's choices. So you mean to tell me the reason you haven't elevated in life, you're going to give somebody else or an imaginary thing that much power to say it's them why you haven't progressed, when you have the same 24 hours in a day. You have the same 365 days in a year to get up and do something. We all have the same amount of time in a day and a year. Is just how we choose to use it. A lot of us don't allocate our time correctly. We like to spend more time being caught up in drama and foolishness that doesn't do anything to us. Didn't I say last week, what does your algorithm say about you? If you're online, what videos is the algorithm, is the AI constantly suggesting for you? If they're constantly suggesting drama, if they're constantly suggesting fight videos and ratchetness, then there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you, and it's time to elevate. It's time to change your algorithm. You're giving your energy to the past instead of investing in your future. Blame gives away the very power that you need to change. Blame gives away the very power you need to change. The power to change is within you, but you're so busy blaming someone else that you've now lost that power. Let me see, that's where most of your lies come from, yourself. Absolutely. Blame equals trapped in somebody else's choices. Yes, man. Blame, like, bro, you're constantly just blaming. You're blaming people. Here you are. And this is only because we're doing this show Monday about like food and the health industry and stuff. But here you are, diabetic, your heart about to stop and everything like that. But instead of putting the onus on you and making the changes that you need to prolong your life, you're blaming the doctors for not giving you the medicine, or you're blaming the food suppliers for giving you this food. Well, guess what? You didn't have to eat it. You didn't have to eat it. That you see how simple that is? And then somebody will come back and say, well, it's only what we could afford. Well, then that's where you have to take an evaluation of your life and see where else you're spending money unnecessarily. Listen, you can't do that with me. One thing about me, I don't take the blame. I don't take the excuse machine, man. There's always something else that you could do. Maybe not go out so much so you could buy better food. Maybe cut back on some luxuries so you could buy better food and prolong your health. You see how easy that is? There you I gave that to you for free. I ain't gonna charge you for that. That's why I say, you come to this church, we ain't charging you nothing. If you want to give me something, that's fine, but we ain't charging you nothing. I'm not going to hold you in no line or anything like that. I'm not charging you nothing to give you this. Ownership is scary because it demands action. Listen, it's hard, man. It's so hard to take ownership of your own faults because you have to admit that you're wrong. And a lot of us are afraid to do that. We're afraid to admit that we're the problem. We're afraid to admit that we're the problem. If every relationship you're in fails, what's the common denominator? It's you, right? You're the common denominator. Just think about it. It's I always put everybody back to Isaiah. What is it, Jackie? It's Isaiah 6. Yeah, I think I always put you back to Isaiah 6. Woe is me, for I am a wretch undone. Isaiah saw that in himself and he acknowledged that. We got to have that Isaiah 6 moment where we realize that it's us. We're the problem. Responsibility forces you to grow. It demands a plan, not just a complaint. You got to come up with a plan for your life. Come up with a plan. Stop just going day by day. Oh, I'm just living for today. I'm living for today. Whatever happens, happens. You have no plan in your life. You can't execute anything because you haven't made any plans. You haven't made any preparations for anything. Ownership says, I may not be where I want to be, but I'm not staying here. It is tough for some of you guys. If I use an old preaching tactic that we use, turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, it's time to move on. I can't stay here. I got to move on from here. I got to move out of this place. We going through. We got to get out of here. You may not be where you want to be right now, but you're not staying there. You got to take the initiative to say, I'm not staying there. Boys blame, men build. Every level of manhood requires a new level of ownership. Maturity shows when you stop waiting for someone to fix it and start working to fix it yourself. Let me see what Jackie says here. Blaming others is as old as time. Generations and generations and generations. Blaming others is still... Oh my goodness, what's going on here? Come on, blaming other. You don't have to be a victim to it. It's a choice. Absolutely, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice to blame. It's a choice to either is a choice to do the work yourself or blame. Do the work yourself or blame. Everybody has the opportunity to do the work themselves. You can't create a better tomorrow with yesterday's excuses. We get it. We get it. Your dad left you, but you know what? Your dad left you and there's nothing we could do about it. Your mom was a whore. There's nothing we could do about it. You got beat up in school. There's nothing we could do about it. You were bullied. You were picked on. There's nothing we could do about it now. What are we going to do today? You're still, some of you still hanging on stuff from 30, 40 years ago. It's time to let some of that go, man. Your dad been gone a long time ago in the grave, and you still blaming him for why you are where you at in life. My dad is what? I'm 45. My dad is 66. How ridiculous would it be for me at 45 to still be blaming my 66-year-old dad for something he did to me or said to me when I was 10? Think about that. Think about what I just said. And you're blaming him as the reason to why you can't progress in life. Now, if he did something, crazy sexual or whatever like that, then you need, got to get that taken care of. But if he said something to hurt your feelings or something like that, you're literally holding on to that. That's crazy work, man. That's crazy. You got to forget the former things. You got to press towards the mark of the high calling, which is in Christ Jesus. You got to move on. Move on. Bad character brings on horrible results. My mother used to say, if you hang around trash, you turn into trash. Absolutely. Birds of a feather flock together. That saying is so true. If you want to see how a person is, you look at their circle. You look at their circle. And I often tell you too, I've been saying this from the beginning, if you're doing the best in your circle, then it may be time for you to find a new circle because you don't want to get complacent. And a lot of times what we do, we like to stay around people that we're better than just so they could stroke our ego to be like, oh my goodness, you're so great. You're so, no. You always looking to elevate in life. You always want to move forward. You always want to go higher and higher. At least I do. And if anybody's listening to Pause and Reflect, hopefully that, that's where you want to be in life. Everything you want is on the other side of taking responsibility today. Again, everything is just right on the other side. It's just right on the other side. You can either carry excuses or carry growth, but you can't carry both. You cannot carry both. And I'm about to wrap up here, but let me ask you this question. In what areas of your life have you been blaming instead of building? That's to the chat. That's to everybody who's going to be listening to this. That's my timer telling me I got 5 minutes to go, but yeah, I'm almost done here. But what area of your life have you been blaming instead of building? What would happen if you took full responsibility and starting today? Like, what would happen? Where would your life be if you decided to sit down right now and be like, you know what? I'm about to make a plan. I want to move on from here. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to constantly be going through this cycle. I don't want to keep going on this hamster wheel. You ever watch a hamster on the wheel? They're just going. They can go all day on that wheel, but they aren't going anywhere. They're running, but they aren't making any progress. And that's how we are. A lot of us, we're just stuck on that hamster wheel of life. And it's time for us to move on. Growth starts the moment you stop blaming and start building. Your life is your responsibility. Own it, and you'll own your future. And as simple as that, man. That when I started this pause and reflect, that's all I wanted to do. Hey, what can I do to help some people out? And it started to strictly just be about the men, but this is universal now to anybody. What can I do to help some people out? What can I do to touch some people to be like, hey, if we apply these lessons in life, it'll help us out some. You know, I had yesterday, it just blessed my heart so much, man. Our sister was doing a live stream, and she was naming out all these YouTubers that are like drama YouTubers, and she was like, man, these guys get millions and millions of views and they do all this. And then she said, but then you have a guy like Trevor that's actually giving us life advice, that's helping us. That's actually helping us, and he doesn't get the traffic that he should be getting. And that just made me smile. Like, that just made me smile so much, man, because again, when I do this, I'm looking like, man, I want to put it out there as my legacy, as my stamp or whatever. You'll find it eventually. It'll find its way to ears that need to hear it. That's just how I feel about things. But the fact that somebody would see that and be like, no, man, this needs to get out. This needs to get out. I love doing the pause and reflect. We're so busy at work that I get to work a little later than I'd like to get started. That's why it's been so sporadic the past couple of weeks. But I love this. This is what I love to do, man. I love to encourage people. I love to motivate people. And if I could give you some scriptures on top of it, then I feel like I'm doing what I'm put here to do. But it's time to stop blaming, man. It's time to move on, move past what we've been taught, move past, using the crutch. Just move past it and start living. Start living. Me and Jackie disagree on a lot of stuff on a daily basis, but one thing we can agree on is that Christ gave you life. Like, you have life in Christ. You have the grace of Christ, and you have the ability to live. You have the ability to move on. You have the ability to be a new creature. You have that ability. You don't have to stay in bondage anymore. He already paid the price for all that. And I want to leave you with that. Like I said, this portion of Pause and Reflect is over. I'm not going to beat you up for a while, because guys like to say I'm always blaming them and beating up on them, whatever. So I beat you up for about 20 plus episodes. So now it's time for me to rebuild you. So Monday, hopefully, I may do it Sunday. I may seriously do this Sunday, the church hurt, because I want to, that's something I don't think I'll be able to do in 30 minutes. I may do the church hurt episode this Sunday. So stay tuned to that. I have it scheduled for Monday, but I may do it Sunday, depending on, what we have planned. Because I definitely want to talk about that. Because the church hurt thing is real, but not in the way that we've been taught it. And then next Friday, we'll start, with our new series, Fatherhood, Marriage and Relationships and Money. I already got all that stuff lined out. So we're going to rock out in that. But yeah, man, we're just going to keep this thing going, man. Just make sure and help me out. Share the video. Listen, you share the video, hit the like button. That's all I care. I don't care about nothing else. Share the video, man. I've been working 50 plus hours a day. I'm fine. I mean, not a day, but a week. Oh God, a day. I don't want your money. I'm not asking you for your money. The best thing you could do for me is share the video. Share the video, hit the like button, have some people come on over and check it out. Share the playlist. All these shows are in one playlist. Just share the playlist. That's the best thing you could do for me. Hey, that's my last bell. I got to get out of here, get my day started. It already feels like 90 degrees here in Florida. This is insane how hot it is, man. So you guys stay hydrated, stay blessed. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Sunday. I'm really considering doing this show on Sunday, The Church Hurt. Brother Ash will be doing a teaching tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern on John 3:16. So be sure to tune in for that tomorrow. And then hopefully Sunday, I'll do the episode on Church Hurt. Hey, man, y'all enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys on the other side. You know what? Let me play my video again. You guys let me know what you think about my video. Let me hold on. Let me get it up here real quick. Pause. I'll see you guys on the other side, man. Peace.
I am inevitable.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you are laughing and opening a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make mockery and not to understand, is to make the same mistake yourself.